Playing the Radical Latino Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands in the air for New York's very own.
Latino is taking you to another level.
Yeah! What up, my people? Welcome back to another episode of the Radical Latino Show. It's your host, the Radical Latino, aka number 25 on all Latin podcasts, aka Mr. Unsuable, for the 17th week running. What is going on? How are y'all doing? I think I gotta change that number 25 on all Latin podcasts when this new year comes in. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. So a couple of updates to start this whole thing off. I want to give a huge shout out to Fighter Complex. You know what I'm saying? My man hit the world record. Well, in my point of view, the world record of the people that we interact with in this little YouTube streets of ours as the longest running live stream. He did a 24-hour run live stream. My man went to sleep, woke up, bunch of craziness happened. Racist people came in, got out, different conversations happened. There was beefs, there was other beefs, and all that other craziness. You know what I mean? So I want to give a shout out to Fighter Complex. Now, this is the thing. At a certain part of the stream, there was Fighter Complex was in the building. Comic, shout out to Comic, bro. Shout out to you. Comic was there. Shayna was there. La Princess was in the chat. Viva was in the chat. And I forgot somebody, I think Marcel and Blood Moon, I believe, was in the chat. And I was at the gym and I decided to reveal myself. A little sneak peek. I did it twice. I did it real quick too, like a little sneaky little bitch. You know what I mean? So I did it twice, you know, and I revealed myself. I said, boop, boop, you know what I mean? A little taste here and there, you know what I'm saying? So if you guys want to go, see that, this is the thing. I don't know where to find it. I don't know where to find that live stream because if you go to Fighter Complex's channel, it's not there. But if you go to the search, it comes up, but is unviewable for some reason. I have no idea why. So if anybody wasn't screen recording that, then oh well. If nobody took a screenshot, then oh well. You know what I mean? That little part was lost in time. That little thing was lost in the ether. In the atmosphere. That whole thing was lost in time. You know what I'm saying? So I guess my appearance just stays a mystery. Oh my god. The way things work, right? The way things work. Also today I actually, not today, this whole week I've been, you know, neglecting putting out videos or whatever. I've been going to different live streams and voicing my opinions and stuff. I went to Paola's channel today. I even popped up on Antonio Batista's live stream. Apparently I found out that I wasn't the only one that did so, but whatever. I popped up in Antonio Batista's live stream. I'll see if I could like make a, I don't know, go live or something like that real quick, or voice my opinion or something. You know what I mean? I'll see if I can do that. But I went there real quick and just asked him a couple of questions, and then I left. You know what I'm saying? Because I wanted to know a couple of things. That's it. You know what I'm saying? That right there is it. Again, this is gonna be a filler episode, just a filler episode. This is not gonna be, something that I want to be discussing. These 2 filler episodes are gonna be interviews that you guys might have heard or you guys might have not heard, and these are interviews of people interviewing me and asking me questions and stuff, and maybe you guys get a better insight on who I am. You know what I'm saying? So, this first interview is from Melanated Night. Shout out to Melanated Night. Shout out to your fiance also, Denise. Shout out to both of y'all. Y'all sound like a really cute couple, a really good couple. A couple that's responsibly building together. That's what I like to see. Perfect example of Black and Latin unity. I spoke to her for the first time on the live stream, which was a wonderful thing. And I didn't even think that was even gonna happen, but okay, cool. But shout out to Denise and shout out to Melanated Night. Shout out to Melanated Night for interviewing me. I'm putting Melanated Night YouTube channel at the bottom. If Melanated Night is listening, brother, you have to put out more content, man. Please put out more content. Trust me. I think I'm the first interview that he did, to start his podcast, and I think that's it. He stopped. You gotta keep on going, bro. You gotta keep on going. But anyway, without further ado, I'll be long-winded as hell. You know what I'm saying? I'll be long-winded as fuck. Without further ado, I want to let you guys hear Melanated Night. I hope you guys enjoy. Peace.
This you do. All right, everybody. This is Melanated Night. If you're watching it on YouTube, the channel is gonna be Melanated Night. On Anchor, it's gonna be Nightly Thoughts with a K. So KNIGHTLY Thoughts. I don't know why I did that. I just wanted to separate the 2. But I'm here with Radical Latino.
What's going on, man? Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Shout out to Melanated Night and shout out to everybody in Anchor and on YouTube. Shout out to y'all.
Hey, thank you. No, thank you, Radical, because shoot, you the first one, and you told me, when I wanted to get this started, you said do it regardless if you have nobody, because people will come. And I just appreciate that, because it really took a lot to get me up off the couch and get me on the mic.
Yeah. So sometimes it just takes a spark. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what it is. As long as you doing it something constructive, you know what I mean? As long as it's gonna help you out and not only uplift you, but uplift the people around you in your community.
All right. So for the audience to get to know you, I'm gonna ask you a few, starter questions. But where are you from? Let's get there.
I'm from Bronx, New York. Stand up, you're BX all day. BX or B next. No, let me stop. I'm from New York City. Born and raised in the Bronx. Bronx, Lebanon. The worst hospital ever, but whatever. We will still make it. Yeah, I'm basically from there, and I grew up in East Tremont and Grand Concourse. If anybody knows what East Tremont and Grand Concourse is, that's basically where I grew up my whole life.
Oh wow. Oh shoot. So next question. I'm gonna go through these starters kind of quick.
Go ahead.
But, how'd you come up with your name?
A bunch of white supremacists gave it to me, to be completely honest. So before I started the podcast, I would be on Facebook, right? And this is when Donald Trump was getting up to his presidency. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, to be honest with you, this was a year before Donald Trump became the president and started, campaigning and stuff. So I was on Facebook, kind of going heavy because I was already educated on white supremacy. I was already educated on the whole system of it. And even though I'm still learning, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say that I know everything. I'm still learning, but I was on, Facebook and saying, yo, this is fucked up. What happened to, Tamir Rice? Yo, this is fucked up. What happened to Eric Garner? Yo, this is injustice. All this other stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my Facebook wasn't private. It was actually like open to the public. And hundreds of white people would come and go like, "How dare you say that?" And I will go and back and have a back and forth with them. It didn't help their cause because I was hitting them with facts and they were kind of hitting me with feelings. You know what I'm saying? And I
Mm-hmm.
would just ask them, straight up questions like that. Let's say for the whole Colin Kaepernick thing, he was kneeling. We all know why he was kneeling, but they have to derail the conversation and say he was kneeling for something else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So because of that, I would honestly, I would just say, oh, so if that's the case, that he's disrespecting the flag, is that those people from Waco, when they took up siege against the ATF and the FBI, were they also disrespecting the flag when they were shooting back at police? In the Bundy Ranch, when they took up arms against the federal government 3 times, were they also disrespecting the flag? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
they weren't able to come at me with no, like, well, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people get shut down when white folks, especially white folks, you know what I mean? Like everything coming out of white lips is kind of like granted as he's
Yeah.
right. You know what I'm saying? So
It's the truth.
yeah, basically. So from that, people get shut down quickly when they like, oh, what about black and black crime? And then people be like, oh shit. Goddamn, you know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
you got to learn how to combat that. So I would say stuff like that. I would go on Facebook jail for like weeks on end. I wouldn't be able to post. You know what I'm saying? So with that, so when I was actually going at this white lady from I think she was from Utah. I still remember this white lady. Shout out to you, racist ass little bitch. But she's from Utah, right? And we were talking about. I made a post and I said that the only reason why George Zimmerman got a innocent verdict and he got acquitted was because of white supremacy. This is basically this is white people's OJ. That's all I said. This is white people's OJ.
Oh wow.
And when I said that, I had literally 100 something comments. How dare you? OJ did it. He was defending himself. You know what I mean? So we were going to a back and forth, and that white lady basically, because after like a good hour and a half, she was like, "You're too radicalized. You're like a radical Latino." And I'm like, that's kind of like, wait a minute, what? That's kind of a good. That was kind of that was kind of a good like name. So I kind of grabbed it and I just kept it in the back burner. You know what I'm saying? I just kept it
Yeah.
behind until I was like, yo, I should use this name. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it came about.
Dang. Oh shit, Radical. You just answered like 5 questions.
Yeah,
5
yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's good. Cause I was like, shoot, I'm gonna ask him the other two. And I'm like, he kind of wrapped those up
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
nice.
It's all right. It's all right. You could go ahead.
But I'm gonna hop into the other questions. And for those listening, and even you, Radical, if y'all hear people talking Spanish in the background, that's my sister-in-law and my wife.
Que lo
So
que?
y'all hear them like, the volume get loud, that's them. But I want to talk about like I want to hit on the Latino, Hispanic. I don't know, because sometimes my wife doesn't know. She rather prefer Hispanic than Latino, so I'm not sure on
Mm,
what to, go
okay.
by.
Okay.
So I just put both. But I wanted to talk about like some things that's been happening because ever since I've gotten with her, I've had to expand my worldview
Got it.
of than just black folks. Because I'll tell you, before I had my awakening at 19. So like till
Okay.
19, I was always like, well, why does everything have to be about racism? And black people are not, we're always complaining. And my mom used to look at me like, what's this nigga
Uh-oh.
doing?
Uh-oh.
Like,
You kind of soft shoeing. You kind of soft shoeing, bro. Uh-oh.
yeah, she
Uh-oh.
was like, what's going
Uh-oh.
on? But
Uh-oh.
then too, it's because like towards the last year of elementary, I moved to a white school. And then
Uh-huh.
from there out, I went to white schools all the way up till high school. And
Uh-huh.
it is not until like the year after, like I said, 19, that I met my spiritual teacher, Brother Quadra. Shout out to Brother Quadra.
Okay.
And I started really learning, but it got to a point at some point where I started like telling people, yeah, you black, you black. You know, when you first had that awakening, everything is
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, what's up, brother? You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
peace and blessings to the earth.
Wearing dashikis, walking around with onks, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
With a huge Olmec, you know what I'm saying? I know.
shoot, and I had all that. But at some point I got kind of, thrown off because everybody, you would tell people you're black, and they'd be like, I'm not black. Da 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 da. Even our own people would be like, well, I'm not black. I'm Indian, Native
Yeah,
American.
yeah. But something we have to understand that Native Americans were considered black um during to the Europeans. They would do that shit interchangeably. You know what I'm saying? Native Americans were being called black and blacks were being called Native Americans. They would just interchangeably do that. If you watch the movie The Revenant, they had a line that they will call, this is actually true, they will call the Native Americans tree niggers. There's a
Mhm.
reason for that. You just don't put the N word onto a group of people unless you see them a certain type of way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
So
Shoot.
yeah.
All right, so that leads into my first one. I just wanted to get that one out the way.
Mhm.
But do you feel like, because some people separate them, do you feel like there's racism and discrimination in the Latino Hispanic community? And
100%. Yes. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
And
Go
it,
ahead.
and if so, where do you think that comes from?
100%. There's obviously racism and discrimination between inside the Latin community. The thing is that we don't do it up in your face. You know what I mean? A lot of Latin people still work by and is structured by the colorism, aspect of things. If you're a dark Latin person like Amara La Negra, you're gonna have less opportunities, and you're still gonna be accepted, but you're not gonna be accepted that much. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
inside the Latin community, you're not gonna get that many opportunities. Outside the Latin community, white folks are gonna kind of like see you as exotic, and you're gonna get a little bit more opportunities, but still not as much as you would inside the Latin community. So Latin people do go by that whole racism thing, but it's by color. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't say, well, you don't share the same culture as me because they're all Latin. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they'll go by the whole color thing. And the reason for that is because when you're a captive people, when you're a people that has been beaten into submission, and when you're a people that has been, decimated by the system of white supremacy, these are the after effects that will happen to that sort of people. We are just products of the mental rapening of white supremacy. That's all it is. And Latin people are not just that product. There's other people, like Africans are also part of that product as well. Any group that's been subjugated. You know what I'm saying? We're just
Mhm.
just a product of that mental rapening.
Oh, wow. So how do you feel about the representation of the communities when it comes to those type of issues? Like how do you feel like
I feel that a lot. So what you'll get a few answers. When it comes to that type of community, or the Latin community, you'll get a couple of answers. You'll be, hey, so what's up with the racism in the Latin community? Ah, it exists, but you'll get those type of answers like, and they'll be truthful, but they won't be truthful 100%. You know what I mean? You'll
yeah.
get the other side, like me, that'll be like, yes, there is, because of this and this and this, and I'll just start rambling on why. You have to really look at, if we're talking about allies, let's look at their track record. Let's look at what they're saying, because it's not based on what they're saying sounds good. Oh, no, 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 no. Let's see what they have done. You know what I'm saying? On top of what they have done, what did they say within those contexts of what their actions is leading up to? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
when it comes to when you talk about racism, it's very easy to pick out who's your allies. You know, if you're gonna have the person that's like, yeah, I'm up for you, I'll fight with you. What about racism in the Latin community? Ah, well, you know, that's when you be like, all right, get the fuck out of here, you know. But if you have somebody like, yes, there is because of this and this and this and this and this, and we got, you know what I'm saying? There's you see the starch difference, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very difficult. I found that it's very difficult for a certain group of people to kind of judge themselves, and I know that. But when you're living by a code of conduct, when you're living by a certain rules or certain step of code, then because I made a whole, you know, a whole episode on how Latin people should stay on code, you know, when
Mhm.
you live by a certain code of conduct, it's going to be very easy for you to say, okay, it's going to hurt me, but guess what? I have to criticize my own people. You know what I'm saying? I got to pull your coat a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's,
Yeah.
it's that comes with the territory, and you know it's kind of difficult. It's difficult, but it has to be done sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you because when I used to ask that a lot, and I ain't gonna say no names because I don't, it is, what we're saying doesn't have to do with beasts or anything. It's just like when you talk to people and they can't really give you a straight answer, like, does it exist? Yeah, like you say, yeah, I don't know. Like I'm like, I don't know what book we reading. I don't know what information we looking at where you're not comfortable, where you can just say, yeah, it is.
You know what it is that, like I said, it's very hard to judge your own people, and it's very easy to judge people outside of your group. You know, very easy. We've seen black folks get judged by literally everybody under the sun. You
Hmm.
know, black people are the social stepchild that gets picked on and kicked on and kicked by everybody up in the household, even the parents. That we have to keep it real. You know what I mean? We have to keep it real. Black folks has been socially, economically, and mentally and spiritually abused, you know. So it's very easy to just look at black folks and say, all right, I'm gonna pick on this person, you know. But when you go to your own group, hey, but y'all do the same thing too. Ah! You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's when the whole well, maybe, I don't know, let's talk about it, let's see different angles. For some reason they become social scientists and go like, well, let's look at it at a different way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Black on
So
black.
yeah, exactly. So when it comes to certain like those type of things, that's when you get to really see who's an ally and who's not. You know what I'm saying? Because then
Yeah.
they'll say, well, because they'll end everything saying, yeah, there is, but I don't know, this and this. But guess what? We all shouldn't be looking at racism. Is there racism in everything? You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
when they'll hit you with that bullshit. And it's very easy to combat that because you could say, well, if I'm not looking for racism, there shouldn't be no racism to be found because racism is something that's man-made and it's unnatural. That shouldn't even be in the universe. So the fact that I do find racism in something that's not supposed to be there is the issue.
Exactly. Yeah, because shoot, it's like I don't know. I'm looking at like Rican. I watched your thing with Rican Delphia like 3 times
How you
because
like it? How you like it? How you liked it?
it was entertaining because like it made me laugh. Everything that came out of his mouth made me laugh, and like I got his voice down to a T. Well,
Oh
you know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Like, you know, people coming to our country doing dumb shit. I'm like,
That's
what?
funny.
I'm like, okay,
That's funny.
but it's like you're asking them simple questions, and I'm like, dude, you should be able to answer that.
Yeah. You know,
And like,
you want to know how I learned how to debate?
Mm-hmm.
I learned how to debate by watching some YouTube clips. When I was in high school, I wasn't in debate teams, but I were a part of the debate teams. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was structure arguments, and being with a lot of black and Latin ex-girlfriends, they would, when they would argue, you know what I'm saying? Let's be honest. They start structuring fucking they'll start structuring conversations and arguments that you're like, where the hell you got that from? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
I know.
you gotta be quick on your toes. And also, like I said, on Facebook, arguing, debating with white folks, because let's be honest, white folks are a different breed when it comes to us debating.
Yep.
When it comes to us debating, we'll stay on topic for a little bit, like 1 or 2 minutes, and then start talking about the Metroneger and space and the Odyssey and all this other shit in the moon and the stars. And at the end of it, they'll be like, so how can you determine what the Bible says 37 different ways? And you're like, yo, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, where'd that even
when it
come
when
from?
it comes to white folks, they know it, they stay on topic, and on top of that, they'll start reading off laws that you never even heard about. You know what I'm saying? They'll
Mhm.
start sprinkling some truth with a bunch of bullshit. So you got to learn how to dip and dodge. You know what I'm saying? You got to learn how to bob and weave and go through all that bullshit to actually find the kernel of what they're really talking about, and you dismantling with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, I definitely need to work on my debate skills because as I get older, I think when you talk about the same subject over and over again and it's constantly being dismissed,
Yeah.
after a while, like your frustration level go up, and you're like, I don't even want to talk anymore.
Yes. The main thing that I learned. So I got two mentors. To be completely honest, I got two mentors. I blame them for getting getting me to this point. I blame them. So if anybody wants to go back in time, oh, we gonna kill Radical Latino when he was a baby. No, kill them two. Them two motherfuckers. Those are the ones that got me in the way that I am. But when it comes to debating, you just got to learn not to get emotional. Don't get emotional whatsoever. When you hear a person curse at you, you automatically win. You automatically win. It's okay. Just run around the ring, go up against the ropes, and let the clock run out. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna win.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Once they start cursing, that's it. That's all. All you got to do is dodge and weave, dodge and weave. You shouldn't be talking about that because you're a bitch ass motherfucker. All right, dodge and weave, dodge and weave. You shouldn't be talking about that because you're now 100% black. You white, dodge and weave, just dodge and weave. You shouldn't be talking about, you know what I'm saying? So that's all
Yeah.
you got to do. That'll be like, Are you done? Are you done? Oh, okay, cool. But you know what I'm saying? Just dodge and weave. That's all you got to do.
All right. So shoot, that was a lot. But but one thing I've been finding interesting is like I don't know if it's been going on since you came on here or since I found you because I found you like a couple of months ago
Okay.
because I got tired of listening to Latin coons. Yeah,
And
because
it's a lot of Latin coons out there. There's a lot of
yeah,
Latin coons out there.
because I accidentally listened to an Antonio Batista video
Yeah.
first because I
Ooh.
didn't, the title was kind of ambiguous. I didn't know what it meant. And when I heard him, I'm like, who is this nigga? Because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
that sounds so like, oh, I wanted to hit my screen. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know
yeah,
what
yeah.
he's talking about. But let me get back to what I was gonna ask. But like when it comes to like with you and certain people, I've noticed that like you'll get like Dominicans from the actual, island start talking about like you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know he doesn't know what he's saying, he doesn't belong here. Do you feel like you have the right to represent how they're looked at? I don't
Well,
know if I'm saying that
no, no,
right.
no, no. I get what you're saying. I mainly talk about the Latin Americans here in the country.
Hmm.
I don't talk about Latin people from our homeland or from the Latin diaspora. I'm gonna just use that word now, Latin diaspora. I don't talk about them because they're going through a different situation. They have their own fight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There still is to this day a confusion of white supremacy out there to the point where they view themselves more interconnected with Spaniards than they do with other black folks or darker people that are associated with them, like the Indians and the natives and stuff, right?
Hmm.
So that's a whole other animal that I don't even want to get into, and I don't think I should get into.
Yeah.
I think that I'll be a bad representation for that. There are a lot of Latin people in those areas, like in Cuba, Dominican Republic, Ecuador, because I'm half Ecuadorian,
Yeah.
South America, Brazil, where they do see it, but they don't know how to differentiate it. They do see that there's an issue in there. They do see that there is a problem with white supremacy, but they don't know how to define it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mainly talk about the Latin Americans here, and most Latin Americans here come from broken people. And the reason why I say broken people, because the majority of Latin Americans here are either first or second generation. It's kind of
Hmm.
rare to find third, fourth, fifth generations with old school mentalities like them parents had back in the day.
Yeah.
So when you have first or second generations with broken mentalities, meaning with that mentality of white supremacy still stuck in there, talking about black folks are this, no, black folks are that, because the negative stigma of black people. I'm sorry, excuse me. Sorry, I got that corona. No, let me stop. Let me stop. No, that negative stigma of black peoples are not only designated in America, it's designated worldwide. So worldwide, black folks are viewed as, I'm gonna keep it real, and this is not trying, I'm just letting you know, black people are viewed worldwide as the people who start fights, who kill the most, who rape the most,
Hmm.
and all, which isn't true whatsoever. It's not true, but they're viewed due to the media of white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? So when these people from these countries come to the United States, they already see that negative stigma, you know, portrayed in their country, and now they're seeing that negative stigma portrayed through what the media is still portraying out, in the world. And the worst part is that these people, when they come to this country, they don't go into white neighborhoods at all. What neighborhoods do most Latin immigrants go to? They go into black neighborhoods.
Yep.
Let's keep it real. They go into black neighborhoods because this is systematic, where black and Latin people are automatically put into those neighborhoods. Why? Because white supremacy still sees us the same. They see us as one big Negro. You know what I'm saying? We got to keep it real. So when you are a broken person and you go into those neighborhoods, and let's be honest, because of white supremacy, those neighborhoods are dilapidated, they're kind of messed up. That's an impoverished neighborhood, not because of black folks, because of white supremacy. But when a broken person sees that, they automatically assume and say and associate that with, oh, this is some black shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which isn't true, and which isn't the case. But that's the thing, that we have to break away from that. And that's what I do. I try to get our Latin people to break away from that European mentality. I try to get my Latin people to break away from that broken mentality that we were taught from people who were broken. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's what my main message is. Always has been, always will be. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
that's who I talk with, the Latin Americans here. And the good thing is, I'm finding a lot more Latin Americans who actually think like me, who actually view the same thing as me, who aren't on that bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I interviewed the No Filter podcast, and at the
Yeah.
end, I asked them, "Yo, so you guys got negative images and stigma of black folks?" They even said themselves, "Our parents did, but we don't." You know what I'm saying? So that right
Yeah.
there proves what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, because I'm like, because I was starting to see like some of them from the actual country start coming at you sometimes, and I'm like, well, he's already made it clear that he's talking to the ones here. But I mean, like, if you feel some type of way, there's obviously something going on there, or obviously something he's saying that's hitting a nerve.
Yeah, but you gotta remember something. Whenever if I'm over here, right,
Hmm.
acting like a coon and acting like a buffoon and talking out my ass on some bullshit, or even talking about things that it's unnecessary that isn't constructive to our community, like, hey, you guys know that UFOs are real? The real issue with coronavirus is actually 5G. You know, if I start talking some bullshit like that, none of these people will have a problem.
Yeah,
Actually, some of these people will encourage me or even pay me to keep on saying that bullshit. But the
shoot.
but the fact that I'm out here actually calling it out, and not only I'm calling it out, but I'm pointing at the real issue, which is white supremacy. I'm not saying it's racism. I'm not saying it's being prejudiced. I'm not saying it's segregate. No, I'm not saying none of that. I'm saying white supremacy because that word right there, it's an automatically accuser. You know, that word's an
Hmm.
accusatory, and I automatically put a label to the real issue. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
you can't really wiggle your way around that. Oh well, it's the globalists. Yeah, that's another word for white supremacy. No. Well, actually, it's the Illuminati. Yeah, that's another word for white supremacy. No. Actually, it's the elite. You know what I'm saying? They'll start
yeah,
saying other little code word elite, the Western powers. You got to really pay attention to shit like that. It's Western powers. What is Western power? Well, is that 1%? What is the 1%? It's those rich white guys. White supremacy. So we really go back to it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So that's why they get mad because they either one know that I'm saying the truth and they don't like it, or two, I'm uphailing the veil that they've been confused this whole time and they're mad about it because I'm giving them that pill to get away from the matrix, my brother. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is.
but it's like it that's crazy, man. But you talk about you're for black, empowerment, Latin unity. I myself, yeah, as people know, I'm married to a Puerto Rican woman or engaged. I go back and forth because
Uh-oh.
'cause you might
Uh-oh.
as well.
Uh-oh.
She
People are gonna be like, stop fucking our women, bro.
oh, because Panna was like, represent her, represent her. I was like, oh man, I'm not. I was like, and she's from straight from the island.
Oh, from Puerto
So
Rico?
yeah,
Shout out to your Puerto Rican queen. Shout out to her.
yeah. We met at a gas station. How what a coincidence. Because we both worked there. But
Yeah, shit. All right, shout out to your Puerto Rican queen. All right, shout out to you.
oh, and my boss was from Ecuador, so I guess that's
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
so I was like, damn, I met everybody for you.
Yeah.
But as you know, we got together, we talked, and either next year, hopefully, or the year after, or a few months even after next year, I'm moving to Puerto Rico with her. So it's like that had me thinking about the Latin unity and
Yeah. Word?
strengthening the African
That's
American community.
that's crazy. I'm gonna this month. Oh, this is exclusive for Melanated Night. Exclusive new shit. Um, I actually did an interview with real not real Puerto Ricans. I mean Puerto Ricans from the island. I'm not saying real Puerto Ricans like all other Puerto Ricans are fake. Um, Puerto Ricans from the island. I did an interview. It's gonna come out Monday. But basically they pretty much, talk about, the things that, I talk about and all that. And
Hmm.
it should give you a better insight on how the island runs when you move out there. And when you do move, let me know so I could send you, like a marriage gift or whatever the case is. I'll send your ass a toaster or blender and shit. Like, here you go,
Yeah, thanks, man. Because I'm getting sick of the states, and then too, I wanted, it's always nice to get an experience of somewhere else. So I'm kind of sick of the American spirit experience, even though I'm American. I just want to go somewhere else because my dream was to retire in Australia. Even though I know some stuff pop off in Australia, I'd rather be secluded in Australia than come back here sometime.
God damn, Australia, bro. Shit.
Yeah, because I'm doing boxing, so I'm like,
Oh, word? All right.
yeah.
Shout out to you, bro. Shout out
When,
to you.
when I get
Break.
that money, I'll get you. You know, I'm gonna send it
Yeah.
some your way.
I'm
Um,
I'm I'm gonna see you in the boxing ring with Puerto Rican
yeah,
American shorts on and all that.
I'm
You
gonna be
coming?
like,
You're
I'm gonna.
gonna come out to Tito Puente music and all that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh shit.
Shoot, they wanted me to come out to Aguanile, but Andy Ruiz messed that up for me. He used it,
Word.
but shoot,
Yo,
like,
right? I'm telling you, I already know when you and Shorty got together, the first thing you heard when you kissed her was suavemente. And you're like, where the fuck that music came from? No, let me stop. Let me stop. Let me
dude,
stop.
that's all I listen to now is reggaeton. Like the whole house is reggaeton. Where I used to have R&B and neo soul and jazz. Now it's you know, dun,
Yeah,
dun, 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 dun. I'm like, oh, okay.
it's a good way to blend the two. You know what I mean? Let her
Yeah,
learn about your culture. You learn about her culture. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It should be a balance. You know?
and I think that's where this last one, like this one of these questions with the Latin unity and African American community, because I think I've brought it up on Christina's video, Xtina, for those of you who don't know who Christina, about if like my kid, for example, is born on the island, raised in the culture, but she also has another part, a different culture also. Like, is she considered part of the culture, of is she a Latino or a Hispanic? And what a coincidence. Rican Delphia told me no. In that it was like a few months ago, way before all this stuff happened, and he told me no. And then another guy responded, he was like, well, she's not Latino because you're her dad. But I was like, but we can accept the girl Madison, who's half Puerto Rican and half white, and she never been to the island, never embraced the culture till she had to do the pageants. And you can accept her. She's not from the island, doesn't had to learn how to speak Spanish before she even went there to compete. But my daughter, who's born and raised on it, is not accepted because she's black. Her dad is black. So it's like, how do we
Hmm.
mend those relations, at least in
You
that?
gotta remember something. You gotta remember something. These are fuck boy opinions. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
These are just opinions. These people do not rule what she or he. You know, I don't know what if y'all have a kid or don't have a kid. You know
Nah,
what I'm
not
saying?
yet.
That's what I'm
Hypothetical.
saying. She or he is going to identify as or whatever the case is. They don't rule that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
In the end of the day, she's gonna be considered non-white. Let's get the fuck up out of here with that shit, right? In the end of the day, she's gonna be considered non-white. Culturally, she's gonna have two cultures. She's gonna be an Afro Latina. That's all it is. There's a
Yeah.
lot of Afro Latin people who are Latin, but they're more African, and they gotta embrace both cultures. Now that you're a Black American, that doesn't stem away from it. She just has to, okay, I'm an Afro Latina. You know what I'm saying? She's a
Yeah.
Latin person that is born in Puerto Rico, knows the culture, and also needs to learn the Black American culture that you come from. And you just like, listen, we're fighters, we're strong people, we've always been fighting systematic oppression and all that. At the end of the day, regardless of what Rican, that little fuckface widow says, regardless of what the other person says, she is still going to be considered non-white. We do a lot of infighting. That's the problem in our community, in the Latin and Black community. We have a lot of infighting. There's a lot of infighting that happens between our community that basically hinders our progress. It hinders the way we view things, and it hinders the way our connection and unity is really gonna happen, because Puerto Ricans beef with each other about stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? But then they'll unite to hate on Dominicans. You know what I'm saying? And then Dominicans beef on each other on stupid shit, but they'll unite to hate on Haitians. You know what I'm saying? Then Cubans all unite to hate on Dominicans and Puerto Ricans. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
so you know what I'm saying? We unite on some dumb shit. Once we actually stop it, curb it, and think about it, okay, hold on. Let me see if what I'm doing is constructive. That's when you start actually realizing, okay, maybe I was bugging. Maybe I shouldn't be doing all of it. You know what I'm saying? At the
Yeah.
end of the day, they're all opinions. But what I like you said, I do promote Latin unity, which I just explained that we should unite. Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Dominicans. I'm talking about Americans, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Unite in one common cause, that we're all Latin. You know what I'm saying? We all were victims of white supremacy and Black empowerment. What do I mean by that? Meaning that we have to identify and get away from that European mentality, identify with our African roots and our Native roots, because let's be honest, Native and Africans, there's nothing different.
Yeah.
And unite with Black folks, regardless of where from the diaspora you are, of Black Americans or non-Black Americans. You mean Black Caribbeans, African, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Unite with Black people to dismantle the system of white supremacy. I think in more numbers come with power, and come better results, which I always say right now, the conversation of reparations is something that is being talked to for the first time ever that I've been seeing, first time ever politically. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying that Latin people, we need to go out and boost up Black folks' numbers so they could get reparations. And guess what? It will happen vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Because Latin people here in the United States, we owe Black folks a lot. You know what I'm saying? So we got to at least help them out in certain things. And guess what? Because once we help Black folks out in certain things, that help is going to come back when we need something. You know what I'm saying? So all that division is all, bullshit. And it's basically strengthening white supremacy again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that reparations was perfect to lead into one of the questions about ADOS, because I identify as ADOS. But I think where a lot of people get that confused is we have a lot of ADOS people out here that are being xenophobic. Now,
I got attacked by some of them, so yeah.
Yeah, and I had to tell them, like, y'all chill out, because like, one, it doesn't help the image, because I think ADOS is a good thing. I think it's a good image.
Yeah.
But when you're attacking allies, and then we get to the point where now we're literally at war with Africans and Jamaicans and everything else, it's like, now, are we really talking about reparations? Are we just going at war?
Yeah, exactly. I wanna give my thoughts on ADOS. I know ADOS is a movement, but is a movement representative of a lineage. So that's something that we all have to be clear. Even though Yvette and Tone made up the term ADOS, I understand that, but that term they are the leaders of, but they're the leaders of a representation of a lineage. That's something that you can't get away from. The only issue I have I got two issues with ADOS. I'm gonna just be real. It goes away from the talk of reparations to some immigrant, bashing shit. Because let's be honest, last time I checked, immigrants isn't going to stop you from getting reparations. Last time I checked, I've never seen no immigrant talk about, let's stop reparations from happening. I've never seen that. So I don't know where this whole bashing thing comes from. That's the only issue I got with that. And the other issue that I got with it is just the word. American descendants of slavery. I understand that Black Americans were slaves, but let's not make that a label. I feel like it's still demeaning. You know what I'm saying? In a way, it kind of still demeaning. So that's when Tariq Nasheed made the term foundation. What's it? Foundation.
Yeah,
fu- fu-
foundational Black American.
Foundational Black Americans. I like that. Or was it Henry Clark? I think was it Henry Clark or Claude Anderson? Somebody said Native Black American. I like that. That's a little bit much better for the mind, for the psyche. That's a
Yeah,
lot better than a descendant of captivity, of a descendant of victimization, of a descendant of imprisonment. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I like those. I like FBA or NBA. I like
yeah.
those better than ADOS. You know what I'm saying?
I
That
never really thought about it like that. So that's actually good.
yeah, because I've talking to some. I talking. What the hell? I spoke. Look at my language. I spoke to did no. I spoke with couple of ADOS people, and I to some conversations, and I got a better understanding of it. I brought up that argument where that's what I kind of don't like, because psychologically it fucks people up. You know what I'm saying? And they understood where I was coming from, and some of them was like, "You're right." So they kind of choose to interchangeably use FBA and then ADOS. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like interchangeably choose it, but that's kind of a thing that I got to issue. Just the name of it and the actions towards immigrants. Like immigrants aren't stopping, you know, reparations. You know what I'm saying? And another thing I want to add to this.
go ahead.
If you go down to the ADOS website, they do a lot of good math with graphs and charts and all that. And what they really need is, I think was it they said $1 trillion for
Mhm.
descendants of slave, right? So this is something I've noticed. Politicians like Bernie Sanders talking about okay, so you guys want reparations. What does that look like? Money, you dumb fuck. What are you talking about? They'll start lollygagging. Well, maybe, I don't know. Kamala
Yeah,
Harris is another one. I'm not gonna do everything for black folks.
yeah.
No, you got
Bernie,
you got
it's the versa.
you got Bernie Sanders talking about, not Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden talking about, well, that's good. Reparations is good, but let's think about all Americans. But yet, when the Corona stimulus package was talked about, they handled that shit within a week. They found
Yeah,
out how to get the money, where to get the money, who's gonna get it, how they're gonna get it. They figured that shit out in a weekend. In a weekend, they literally went to their golf courses, played a few rounds, drink some champagne, and said, "Okay, the deal is done." You know what I'm saying? They handled that shit in a weekend. But when it comes to black people, where's the money gonna come from? Who are we gonna owe the money to? Who's gonna get it? We just can't figure the shit out. You know what I'm saying? It's
yeah.
it, it's you can see the double standard. You know what I'm saying?
It's like it was like when people start bringing up, well, who is it gonna go to? I'm like, well, you guys can't. I said, y'all pocket watching now. Like whoever spends their money on dumb shit, that's them.
Yeah,
But we can't be pocket watching people.
exactly. And the thing is that I heard this other argument. Well, what about rich descendants of slaves? They're going to get more money? Yeah.
Yeah,
Give them a check? Yes. Who cares? Give them a check. You know what I'm saying? Like get
yeah.
out of here with that.
That in itself to me is a dumb thing to say. There's still a descendant. I'm like, just because I made myself, brought myself up from the bottom and made something of myself does not mean I don't deserve, get what my uh ancestors were, oh, my
Yeah.
40 acres and a mule. But people always want to come up with an excuse. Oh, it's
Yeah.
divisive. And Kamala, that's one of the exact reasons why I didn't vote for it. Because one, the Black Panther thing really pissed me off with the
What
whole
what she,
Wakanda thing.
what did she say about the Black Panther?
Nah, if you look up a video, I forgot it was one of her campaign video, and she was just doing the, they crossed their arms in the Wakanda Forever thing, and I'm like, this she did
Okay,
not.
okay, yeah. She was paying. I remember that. I
Yeah,
remember that. Also, her track records is kind of anti-black anyway.
yeah,
You know
and
what
I
I'm
live in
saying?
California, so and I'm in Inglewood, so I
Yeah. Listen,
I
I was on YouTube. Something they were having an interview with Kamala Harris, and on the comment section, all I said was Kamala the cop back at it again. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And I was getting a bunch of what you mean? What you mean she a cop? And I'm like, you know exactly what I mean, white man. You know exactly what I mean. Fuck out of here.
Well, too, shoot, it's hard to get people out of that. Like, you can't tell my grandma that Kamala wasn't a good candidate. You can't tell her anything. But I'm like, I don't like all that pandering. And
Yeah.
then I'm like, at the end of the day, if you're not gonna do something, if people ask, like, I need these politicians to be honest. When someone asks you about reparations, just say you don't want to do it. Don't be
Yeah.
like, well, what does that look like? What do, like you said, money.
You gotta understand. You gotta understand something. Politicians, they run by the benign neglect policy. Basically, if we use code word like minority, that means that, oh, black people are going to feel included in that, when in reality, if you really look down on the word minority historically, that doesn't equate to black. That equates to white women, gay white men are
Mhm.
considered minorities. So everybody else is going to get a piece of the pie, and black folks, they get crumbs. Let's keep it real. The thing is, they never say the word black. Black people are going to get this. They never say that. They talk about minority this, minority that, and all that other crazy shit. So when a politician is going to come out, like, at least, harp down to the whole, what are black people getting? And then you get a real answer like Kamala Harris. I'm not going to do everything for black folks. No. So that's when you really get it.
Yeah, so I mean, all of that stuff is just, I don't, it's disappointing, but I don't, it's not a surprise. Everything's just always gonna be disappointing. Unless things get right, you always gonna be disappointed. But I want to talk about another subject really quick because I'm gonna give you like 10 minutes, 10 more minutes, because I
Yeah.
know you got things to do,
No,
or
we could keep on rocking and rolling. That's fine. Don't worry about it.
we virtually got things to do because I'm stuck in the house. But I remember the light skin motivation um debate that you had,
Yeah.
and it was a comment that Panarica made that made me laugh. She was like, "I commend you for being an adult," but I just don't agree with these idiots. But I'm like, well, that had me thinking when she said that, like, because she said she was biracial. Like, do you personally feel like after talking to them and if you've listened or read multiple things about it, do you feel like there's a fetish in the African American community for light skins and biracials? Because I separate light skinned black people from biracials because it's not necessarily the same thing.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of unfair to talk about, the black community if, I'm quote unquote apparently I'm not a part of it. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Even though I classify myself as an Afro Latino, I classify myself as black. Black doesn't necessarily mean the black community. You know what I'm saying? Because there's black folks
Yeah.
everywhere. So it's gonna be kind of unfair. What I will say is things that I've noticed. I'll say that. I'll say
Okay.
things that I've noticed. So what I've noticed is that light skinned black folks and biracial black folks do get more of a fair share in the black community. They get fetishized a little bit more. That's something I have seen. I have seen some light skinned black people, kind of propped up a little bit more. You could have the darkest, NBA player out here or NFL player, whatever, and they'll have the lightest black person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, they get fetishized. So yeah, I for what I've seen, I do see that. It's gonna be a little unfair to me to say, well, I do think, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah. That
um,
makes sense.
I've just noticed that. That's it.
Shoo. Oh man, that killed my next question. You answered both. I think some of them I wrote not realizing that they connect to each other.
It's fine.
But
It's fine.
you know,
You could still answer them. You ask them or whatever. It's fine.
yeah, but on that, like since I'm black, blackity black, whatever they say.
Yeah,
uh
yeah,
I never for that conversation, it's just I stay out of like colorism conversation
yeah,
because for one, it's not that I don't believe it, is that I just think there's two sides throwing rock. They're throwing rocks at glass houses because they're doing the same thing. I'm hearing
yeah,
dark
yeah.
skin
I wanna,
YouTubers.
I wanna make it clear.
Mhm.
The I didn't have a debate with Adon and Light Skin Motivation. I didn't have a debate with them.
Okay.
We 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 basically had a discussion. That's what it was.
Okay.
Even though I did receive a video of Adon kind of putting a little bit of he was putting some extras on that conversation, talking about I was scared and I looked at their video and I decided to run. Like, dude, chill out. That none of that happened. Calm down.
Yeah.
But
I,
yeah, with that being said, I'm not even gonna entertain that. That's dumb shit. That's female shit. I don't entertain that. But
yeah.
the thing with that conversation is that um you people got to understand is that my initial beef was never about their anti-blackness, because to be completely honest, I didn't know even till that day nothing that they had to do with. I didn't know nothing about them. I didn't know nothing about their content. The
Yeah.
only thing I knew was there's some light-skinned people and that's it. I was like, I didn't know anything about them. What I was gonna do is do some research before I interviewed them. I was still gonna do the interview.
Mhm.
The initial beef was that Moon, you know, bogarted her little bullshit into one of my videos, and it seemed like they already had an off-camera discussion about me not wanting to interview them because it was taking so long.
Yeah.
And I was like, how insecure are you to think like that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How insecure are you? What makes you think that I don't want to do an interview without letting you know, hey, I don't want to do an interview? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't run and do this little female shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't do that. So
Yeah.
that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I wasn't gonna even plan on talking about it until Kim came out on some dumbass shit, making a video about, well, me and Rad talked about it, and I go on your show, and I'm like, yo, me and you never talked about this shit. What are you talking about, bro? Why are you putting my name into this shit? And then they made a response to that, including my name into it, and that whole video that they even put out, literally 90% of it was about me.
Yeah, that's true. I
10,
saw it too.
yeah, 10% of it was about the camming all that. And the thing that I kind of get pissed off about is that why are people associating me and Kim? Why?
Yeah,
Why
that's
the
not
fuck are
even
people associating me? I've been telling people that I am so different from him. I don't agree with everything he says. I am. We are two different people. You know what I'm saying? And people just like throwing it out there, like, oh well, he's a racist, so that means you're a racist. No, get out of here. We are two different people. Like, don't even play around like that. But that's what the initial issue was. And the thing is, when I got to hear what they had to say, mind you, I really don't know nothing about. I got to know them just a small amount of what they said, because I
Mhm.
found out that they're anti-black. I still believe they're anti-black. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though we squashed our differences, I have to be real. They are anti-black because they associate a lot of negativity with dark-skinned people, especially dark-skinned women. they associate a lot of negativity to that. So with that being said, we just squashed our little issue that was a misunderstanding. But that does not mean that I don't believe that they're not anti-black. They're anti-black. Even in that video that I put out on the discussion that me and them had, I said it right in the beginning. I still believe they're anti-black.
Yeah.
Let's get away from that. They are anti-black, because some of the shit that they be saying, and the thing is, they say dark skinned people talk about light skinned people, and they call us our names. Okay, y'all do the same thing too, though.
Yeah.
What makes y'all any different? You know what I'm saying? So it's just basically two sides beefing about who's more stupid and who's more worse, which is dumb. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, because I like I said, it's like throwing rocks at glass houses. You guys both,
Yeah.
oh, she's getting picked because she's black, and I'm not getting picked because something else. And it after a while, it just gets. I'm like, you guys are doing the same thing, and then to try to tell me it's not the same thing is ridiculous. Hold up, real quick, Radical.
Yeah, go ahead, take your time, bro.
Oh, never mind, never mind. But yeah, like it's just ridiculous. And I want to let anybody know who's watching this, we're not starting beasts. I don't want to hear nobody come in the comment section. I don't have subscribers right now, but I know it'll build up, things build slowly. But I don't want people always, trolling and try to bring stuff. Oh, he said this or they were doing this. No, we're just explaining what happened. I don't really
Yeah.
care about
No, facts.
these other
Facts.
YouTubers like that. So like if you're gonna come on and comment, come on and talk about the topic. Don't
Yeah.
come on and talk about how somebody's dissing because we're not, because we're talking about it in the open. So we can say it to them if we wanted to. But shoot. Uh I got a few questions. It's
Go
gonna be
ahead. Go ahead.
light. But coming on to YouTube. How long have you been on YouTube, by the way?
It's about to be 2 years. I gotta make this clear. I'm not a YouTuber. All right, it's not. You know how some rapper says I'm not a rapper, even though you
Yeah.
rapping. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be like that. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm a podcaster. Okay, I
Mm-hmm.
started this as podcasting. I only use YouTube as a marketing strategy. That's all I did. And I kind of use YouTube as something different as well, like putting out individual videos that aren't on my podcast, just so people from my podcast could go to my YouTube channel and see more of me. That's all. That's it. That's all. That's all I did. But I don't consider myself a YouTuber. I consider myself a podcast because that's where I started. So I started May of 2018.
Oh shoot, almost.
Yeah, it's about to be 2 years, dude. It's about to be 2 years. So I started May 2018, and yeah.
Ooh, man. Well, that's good, Radical. But coming on to YouTube, well, since you're not a YouTuber, but would you say the transition have been pretty smooth, or like you've had some issues, like particularly like the site itself and people comments and stuff like that?
Um on YouTube, I did see that I got more of a buzz than I did on my podcast. On my podcast, I was gaining maybe 3 or 5 subscribers, maybe every other 2 weeks. You know what I mean? So people were listening. On my YouTube, it seems like people listen a lot more based on the title of the topic, and people are more vocal on YouTube than they are for the podcast. Even though on my podcast you could write comments, people don't do that. They'll write comments a lot faster on my YouTube. And I have seen that some of my YouTube videos have been striked for various reasons or whatever. I've been shadow banned a few times
Oh
on,
wow.
on YouTube by going live. It's like when you go in live and people are subscribed to you,
Mm-hmm.
when you go to your subscription page, the live is automatically on top.
Yeah.
They wouldn't do that for me. They'll have it like not even show up. You know what I'm saying? So that happened a few times. You could probably even hear it in the audio, saying, I'm like, yo, what the hell is going on? I found out I was being shadow banned, but they stopped it, but they went back to it and then they stopped it again. I don't know why, but it happens.
Yeah, I hear
So
that a lot.
yeah, so they're doing sneaky shit, you know what I mean? But so far it's been good. So far it's been good. You know, I I've met a lot of wonderful constructive people doing the YouTube. I also met a lot of toxic people doing YouTube. So, it's a good thing.
All right, shoot. So we're coming up on the end because shoot, I supposedly go out in like 10 minutes,
Gotcha.
supposedly.
Gotcha.
But do you have anything coming up that we should look forward to?
Um I got actually this whole week I'm just gonna be putting out interviews that I've recorded a couple of weeks ago. It's about to be almost a month, and people will be like, "Yo, I did an interview with you 2 months ago. Where's my episode?" You know what I mean? So, I'm gonna put that. I'm this whole week I'm putting those out. You know what I mean? So people, while y'all in quarantine, y'all getting some content. This Wednesday, which is tomorrow, there's gonna be an interview with Roll the Tape. Friday, there's gonna be another interview with somebody that's going to be a little controversial. I don't want to put it out there too much, but it's going to be a little controversial. This Monday is going to be another interview with Puerto Ricans from the island. I think that's going to be a little controversial as well. And basically so on and so forth. So this whole week, a week and a half, I'm just going to be putting out a lot of interviews. I am talking with certain people that I want on my platform to come so I could interview them, and they're kind of I'm having talks with them because they're kind of big names. You know what I mean? The thing that I've been trying to do, to be completely honest, I've been trying to see if I could get a former white supremacist or a former KKK member, whatever. There's the same thing. A former white supremacist to come on and for me to interview them, but it's been kind of difficult to do so because the two times that I've tried, they've listened to my podcast and they denied coming, which is kind of interesting to me. You know what I mean? Which tells me that okay, you're not no former or anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's basically what you guys should be looking forward to.
Shoot, Radical. Well, shoot, can you tell them where to find you?
Yeah, I got a YouTube channel, The Radical Latino, or just Radical Latino. Just type that in, and you'll see my emoji, and you'll definitely find me. Also, on Instagram and Twitter at the same name, Radical_Latino_. And you guys can follow me there. I'll be uploading certain things that either I want to talk about or certain sneak peeks of certain things. You know what I'm saying? But that's basically where you guys can find me at.
All right. Well, Radical, I know, this is the first one, and I'm honored to have you on because I really wanted someone, you know, serious to be on here instead of someone playing around. And I
Yeah.
was like, Radical's the dude.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm glad to be on. Even though this is your first, you're gonna have many more. Shout out to you, and the progression of your growth. You know what I mean?
yeah, thank you.
Um, yeah, just keep it just keep it going. Make sure you keep on putting out more content, and slowly but surely you'll get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
2 years ago, about to be 2 years, but 2 years ago, I didn't think I was gonna get to this point. I was gonna quit halfway, bro. So I'm like, yeah, this is a cool social little experiment. But I saw all the comments and the love that I was getting, talking about, wow, I can't believe a Latin person is talking like that. Yo, I respect you, this and this and this. So that kind of gave me the motivation to keep on going. You know what I'm saying? So just keep it going, bro.
Shoot, maybe down the road we could redo it. You
Listen,
never know.
anytime, bro. Anytime. I'm always open, bro.
All right, so this is Melanated Night, and I've been on with Radical Latino, and I
Yeah.
will see you guys next podcast.
All right.
Peace.
Peace, guys. Okay, now that was the interview that I had with Melanated Night. He interviewed me. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned a little bit about myself or whatever the case is. All links down below. By the way, if you guys listening to this on YouTube and the music is different, I'm playing with something right now because the other music that I had, YouTube kept on rejecting it. So I just gotta find a new theme song for YouTube. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys liked the interview. Shout out to Melanated Night. He was actually a really good interviewer. Shout out to him. And yeah, so with that being said, remember, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at the same name. Also, if you want to donate to me, link down below and all that other great stuff. Trust me, 2021 is going to be amazing, and I hope you guys enjoy everything. Okay, with that being said, I'm gonna leave out like I always leave out. I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees. All right.